Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be looking at the Count Dooku Black Series figure, and we're going to be giving it a quick review. So if you're new here, subscribe, leave a like on this video if you enjoy it, and let's jump into it. So straight off the bat, what are we going to get in the package? So Count Dooku is going to come with his lightsaber hilt, as I've attached to his belt there. He's going to come with the standard red straight blade that attaches into the hilt, which it's really nice that it's detachable, because it just means that you have so many more possibilities with posing and photography. It's nice to be able to take it off and do shots with, just hilt and hand or hilt on the belt. It's much nicer as well to not have to edit it out if you don't want it there. So that's fantastic. I really like that Black Series, for the most part, does think of these sorts of things. Maybe on some of the older builds that's not there, but yeah, very, very pleased with that. And then what I love about the Count Dooku figure is that we have the kind of swish, the swish effect. Obviously famous from kind of the Clone Wars TV show and Rebels and that sort of thing, the kind of trailing look. But as well, Count Dooku with his, he's got like a tilted hilt. So his style is very kind of swashbuckler, swish and flick, and this is just fantastic because it encapsulates movement, and I love that. And again, because it's got this detachable thing, it means that you can use this with other hilts. If you wanted to use it with Vader or anything like that, it is the same attachment, so that's fantastic. But it's just nice to get, we always get just the black blaster or just the lightsaber, and those things are cool on their own, but when we get more accessories, there's just more possibilities. I mean, certain people will say, flame effects or blast effects or something like that. I don't use them. Well, I'd rather have them and have the opportunity and the ability to use them for very, creative things, or just displays, or to be able to just enhance something about the figure rather than to not have it. I mean, unless the price point is egregious. I mean, Count Dooku is at the same price point, and we get soft goods, and we get a lightsaber swish effect and the steel blade, and I mean, for the same price point, kind of makes you think, well, why are some of the other figures lacking these capes and these effects? But it's fantastic to see that. And then of course, if I take it off his belt here, now Count Dooku doesn't have the kind of Jedi hook and loop hilt. He has on his hilt, I don't know if you can see it there in focus, but he actually has a little peg there, and it goes on the belt, just that's it in focus, just there. And that's really nice, because what I found with some of the hilts is it's nice that they have that attachment, but if you have any movement, or if you need to go in and tweak it, you've got your scene you've got your scene set up, and then all of a sudden you just have to tweak something and that comes flying off and you have to readjust. And if you've got a busy scene, sometimes you really have to be careful where you put your hands, so you don't knock over your progress. So I really like that. And obviously, because it's a bent hilt, that means that you can kind of angle it where you want, and obviously as well, that means that because of the shape, if it was on a hook, maybe only certain angles it would stay. So that's a good design there. So in terms of what comes with the figure, this is all we're going to get, but I think that's a great range of accessories. A great deal of thought has gone into the accessories of the Count Dooku figure, and rightly so. He's a very good character. Moving forward, paint applications. I mean, obviously, in terms of the robe and the belt, there's not much going on. It's this brown look, and a lot of it is the mold. They've molded the cape, and then it's just a straight brown paint wash on there. But I mean, in terms of the detailing, nothing to complain about. When we move to the head sculpt, I mean, the paint applications on Count Dooku are fantastic. I think the hair and the facial hair is awesome. I mean, they've really shaped the beard and that sort of thing well. The hair looks very good. No complaints there, especially with kind of the texture of the hair. It does look very good. It's not kind of a plain wash. It does look textured and defined, you know, as if you were going to weather something and you really kind of filled in some slight cracks to give some more definition. I feel like you kind of get this with the Count Dooku head. And then obviously the face, a fantastic likeness, very good skin sculpt as well. You can really see kind of like the wrinkles, you know, and things like that, and the weathered face of Count Dooku. So paint applications wise, nothing to complain about, very good. In terms of the articulation, now in terms of articulation, Count Dooku has pretty good articulation because it's that kind of Jedi body. So although maybe in the films we haven't seen him spiraling and spinning as much as some of the younger characters, you'll get a brilliant toe point. You'll get a very good, get that in focus, very good ankle pivot. The knee will come just past 90, which is just fine. At the hips, what they've done, which I very much enjoy, is that they've split the tunic, but in a discreet way, so that, you know, you can lift the legs up and it doesn't restrict the movement, which is nice because that works forward and back. You see the split, so that's very good. Hips wise, he will get pretty much to a split, which is fantastic again. In terms of the arms, get this in focus for you. Pretty good bicep curl, you know, just past 90 really. No double joint in there, but I don't think you need it, to be honest. I mean, it would make his arms look unrealistically bulky, so I think that's very good. In terms of his shoulder movement, he'll spin 360 and he'll come to a T-pose at 90, so that's kind of good. With the Jedi, you do get that butterfly joint to let you push backwards a little bit more, and he does have a little bit of give, but he is a little bit restricted in that way. But in terms of, you know, in application to Count Dooku himself, I mean, that's not too egregious because we don't really see him in these very acrobatic poses. In terms of the head sculpt, as we mentioned, it looks fantastic. You aren't going to get much of a look down. That's pretty much all you're going to get, and then the look back. So you aren't getting much of a look down and back. But again, because of Count Dooku, this is the thing with figures, is you have to think about what is the articulation like in comparison to the figure's sort of character and the traits. Count Dooku is one of these characters that he has a very specific look and poise about him. He's always kind of bolt upright, elegant, you know, he doesn't flail around. He's very you know, very refined almost, and because of that, the very straight, like we said, upright look, and kind of, you know, head that doesn't go forward and back too much is kind of, you know, it's going alongside that. It's not like a stormtrooper where you're going to want to put him in all sorts of flailing poses like he's being shot, or a Jedi, you know, being very acrobatic for the most part. Count Dooku is very much a reserved Sith and reserved fighter. And for example, like with the switch effect, if we were to have it like this, you know, in hand, kind of like in the movie, in you know, the prequels, and in the Clone Wars as well, obviously as well, kind of the vintage 2D Clone War was like just taking it to another level. But I mean, how kind of reserved he was, and you know, how he didn't bend much I don't know how else to really describe it, but he didn't really bend much, and kind of, you can kind of see that he's very much a swashbuckler type, very swish and flick, forward back, very precise, but very, very skilled. And when you look at it like that, you can kind of wrestle in your head, okay, well, he doesn't have to have the greatest articulation. So I'm still a massive fan of Count Dooku in that regard. I'm a big fan of the character, the actor that played him in the live action, of course. Fantastic man, a fantastic portrayal. In terms of this figure, though, I mean, it's brilliant. In terms of the versatility of the character, like we've discussed, I mean, Count Dooku throughout the Clone Wars, you can use him in so many different ways. You could even utilise him, as his former Jedi self, and put a different colour blade on the hilt, like we discussed, because it pops out. You could use, another Jedi blade, blue or green. We've got the new, the re-release kind of Qui-Gon Jinn coming out on carded back soon, things like that. And I feel like you could do some really interesting shots. You could do some shots with Yoda, him training as a Padawan sort of thing. All very interesting concepts. And I think Count Dooku is quite an underrated character. He's kind of sometimes a footnote. He's just another one of Sidious's pawns, but I think a very, very interesting character nonetheless, in my opinion. In terms of the overall view of Count Dooku, I honestly think that he is a fantastic figure. I think he's a fantastic character. I think that Hasbro have really captured the likeness. I'm really happy about the changeable hilt, blade effect, and I think the soft goods are fantastic. So I'm going to put Count Dooku really high on my list, and I'm going to put him at a 9 out of 10, and I think that he's definitely worth a pickup. He's just been re-released in the old Black Series box, and I definitely think you should pick him up while you can, if you can. I doubt it's something that we'll see again, just because, with the new content, we aren't going to be going back in periods of the Clone Wars where he was around for the most part, I can imagine. You might see bits here and there, maybe flashes from Kenobi or something like that, but I just doubt that we're going to get a re-release figure. And to be honest, they've smashed the likeness so much with this figure, and they've really knocked it out of the park with sort of, the package deal for the budget you get, £20, and you get lightsaber effect, detachable effect with hilt, the soft goods cape, and an amazing head sculpt. I mean, you can't go wrong. So my final thoughts, 9 out of 10, awesome figure. I hope you've enjoyed this video, guys. I hope this review was informative. If you have any comments, go ahead and throw them down below. I'd love to hear what you think about it. But subscribe if you're new here, leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it, and take care, and I'll see you in the next one.